Hello everyone, this is Aparna Shetty, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, AG Institute of Engineering and Technology. So in this video lecture, I'm going to continue with Data Mining and Data Warehousing, Module 4, that is Classification. So in the previous video lecture, we had seen about rule-based classifier. So in this video lecture also we will be continuing with the same classifier, that is rule-based classifier. Okay, so let us begin. Okay, so next topic over here is ordered rule set. Okay, rules in the ordered rule set, the rules are ranked, okay, according to their priority. So here you will be ordering the rules according to their priority. Okay, an ordered rule set is known as a decision list. So an ordered rule set is also called as a decision list. Okay, in ordered rule set we will be ranking the rules according to their priority. So when a test recorded is presented to the classifier, it is assigned to the class label of the highest ranked rule it has triggered. Okay, so when a record is presented to the classifier, he will assign the class label of the highest ranked rule. Okay, suppose if none of the rules are fired, okay, suppose if none of the rules are fired, then he will assign it to the default class. Okay, so when a test record is presented, okay, either the classifier will present it to the highest ranked rule, or if it does not satisfy any of the rules, then he will assign it to the default class. Okay, consider this example over here. There are 5 rules, okay, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. Now suppose now over here if I give the priority as, suppose if the priority of R1 is 1, priority of R2 is 2, R3 is 3, R4 is 4, and finally the priority of R5 is 5. Okay, so R1 is the highest priority rule. The next priority rule is R2. Okay, the next highest is R3. So it is in this order. So R1 is having the highest priority. Okay, now suppose we have this training record, test record over here, turtle. Okay, blood type is cold, and blood type is cold, gives birth no, can fly no, lives in water sometimes. Okay, we want to classify this rule, or we want to assign the class label for this rule. Okay, now if you see this rules, here you can see that rule R4 gives birth is equal to no and can fly is equal to no. So these two attribute value pairs are satisfied by this rule R4. Okay, hence we can classify this class for turtle as reptiles. Okay, we can classify the class for turtles as reptiles. But again, if you see, the rule R5 is also triggered for this record. Okay, lives in water sometimes. So this R5 over here lives in water sometimes. Okay, so this attribute value pair is also matching. Hence we can also classify turtle as amphibians. Okay, so if you see for this record, there are 2 rules that are triggered, R4 and R5. Now whether we will assign class label reptiles to turtle, or whether we will assign class label amphibians to turtle. Now since R4 is having higher priority than R5, okay, we will assign the class label of R4 to this record. Okay, since R4 is having higher priority than R5, hence we will classify turtle as reptiles. Okay, that is ordered rule set. According to the rule priority, we will classify the rules. Suppose now if here none of the rules were satisfying this record, okay, none of the rules were triggered by this record, then we will assign this class as a default class label. Okay, so that was about ordered rule set. Next topic is rule ordering scheme. Okay, so there are two types of rule ordering scheme. The first one over here is rule based ordering. Okay, the first type of rule ordering scheme is rule based ordering. So in rule based ordering, we will rank individual rules are ranked based on their quality. So here we are using a ranking scheme. So based on the quality or based on the priority, we will rank the rules. Okay. Next type of rule ordering scheme is class based ordering. In class based ordering, rules that belongs to the same class appear together. Okay, so the rules that belong to the same class are appearing together. Okay, so if you see this example over here, this is an example of rule based ordering scheme, and this is an example of class based ordering scheme. In rule based ordering scheme, we will rank the rules according to their priority. So highest priority rule will come first, next the next priority rule will come, and so on. So here we will rank the rules according to their priority. Okay, next type of rule ordering scheme is class based ordering. In class based ordering, the rules that belongs to the same class will appear together. Here if you see, the first three rules all are belonging to the same class, that is no. Okay, so the rules that belong to the same class will appear together, and after that the last rule belongs to another class, that is y. Yes, sorry, it is yes. Class label is yes. So these are the two types of rule ordering scheme: rule based ordering and class based ordering. Okay, next topic, building classification rules. Okay, so for building classification rule, we have two methods. The first method is the direct method. Okay, now in this direct method, we will extract the rules directly from the data or directly from the given record set. Okay, directly from the given data set, we will extract the rules. Okay, suppose in the vertebrate example, they have given that data set, correct? Table, yes, training record set they have given. So directly from that data set, we will extract the rules. Examples of direct method are RIPER, CN2 and 1R. These are the examples of direct method. Next method is indirect method. In the indirect method, we will extract the rules from other classification models. So indirectly, we will be extracting the one classification model will extract the rules from other classification model. Okay, so that is indirect method. For example, we may extract the rules from decision trees, or we may extract the rules from neural networks, right? We have already seen how to extract the rules using decision trees, right? So here in indirect method, we will extract the rules from other classification model. Example of such indirect method is C4.5 rules. Okay. Next topic is direct method. The direct method is also called as sequential covering. Okay, so the steps for direct method are: first step is start from an empty rule. Grow a rule using the learn one rule function. Okay, first you start from the empty rule set. Next you develop a rule using a learn one rule function. So using this learn one rule function, you will generate. So this is the function used to generate a rule. Okay, this is the function used to generate a rule. Okay, so we will grow a rule. So we will develop a rule using this function. Next, remove training records covered by the rules. Okay, so which records are covered by the rule, that record you will remove from the data set. Okay, so first you generate one rule using this learn one rule function. Next you remove all the records that are covered by that particular rule. Okay, now finally you will repeat with the step 2 and step 3 until the stopping criterion is met. Okay. Okay, so you start with an empty rule, then using this learn one rule function you will generate a rule. Okay, then remove the training records that are covered by this particular rule that you generated, and repeat step 2 and 3 until the stopping criterion is met. Okay, we will see this sequential covering algorithm. Okay, step 1 is let E be the training records and A be the set of attribute value pair. Okay, so E is the set of training records and A is the set of attribute value pairs. Okay, why not to be an ordered set of classes? Okay, so why not is a set of classes. Let R is equal to empty set to be the initial rule set. So initially we will have an empty rule set. Okay, so for each class Y belongs to Y0 minus YK. Okay, so for each class label, okay, what you have to do is until the stopping condition is not met, you have to generate a rule. Okay, using the learn one rule method. So as I told you, learn one rule function is used to generate the rule using the training records attribute set and for a given class label Y. Okay, so for a given class Y, using the training set and the attribute set, you will generate a new rule. Okay, so for each class you will, until the stopping condition is not met, okay, you will generate a rule. Next, once we generate the rule, we have to remove the records from E that are covered by the rule. Okay, the records that are covered by this rule are that we have to remove from E. Okay, and next add R to the bottom of the rule list. Okay, R is the rule, entire rule set. Now you have to add the new rule that is generated to the bottom of this rule list. Okay, and repeat with the while loop until the stopping condition is not met. So we will be generating the rules for each class label. Okay, we will generate a rule using learn one rule method. Next we will remove the training records from E that are covered by that rule R. Okay, add R to the bottom of the rule list and repeat while. Okay, you will have to stop the while until the stopping condition is not met. Okay, and later end that for loop, that is for each class label you will have to generate the rule. Okay, and after you generate all the rules for all the class labels, next you have to insert the default rule, that is empty set belongs to YK, okay, to the bottom of the rule list R. Okay, suppose if there are some training records or new records might be added. Okay, and suppose if there are training records that are not classified to any class label, for those training records you will add this default rule to classify the training records that are left. Okay, so here as we have seen, we are going to remove the training records, right? As each rules are generated, we will remove the training records. Suppose if some of the training records are not classified, those training records will be classified by using this default rule. So this is the default rule. Okay, so this was about a sequential covering algorithm. Okay, next here they are describing about that sequential covering algorithm. Okay, the algorithm starts with an empty decision list R. Okay, you start with an empty decision list, okay, or empty rule list. Learn one rule function is then used to extract the best rule for class Y that covers the current set of training records. So using this learn one rule function, you will generate the best rule, okay, for class Y. For class label Y, you will generate a rule using this learn one rule function. Okay, then during rule extraction, all training records for class Y are considered to be positive example. So all the training records for class label Y are considered to be positive example, while those that belong to other classes are considered as negative examples. So all the training records whose class label is Y, okay, you are considering it as positive example, while the other records you will consider it, or the records that belong to other classes, you will consider them to be negative examples. Okay, once such a rule is found, the training records covered by the rule are eliminated. Okay, after that, the new rule is then added to the bottom of the decision list. This procedure is repeated until the stopping criterion is met. Okay, so this was about the sequential algorithm. Okay, we will generate a rule, remove the records that are triggered by that rule, add that rule to the bottom of the rule list R, okay, and this continue with this procedure till the stopping criterion is met. Example of sequential covering. Suppose rule R1 coverage is extracted first because it covers the largest fraction of positive examples. Okay, now suppose if this is the original data and these are the positive examples, that is suppose if you have this rule R1 and Y is the class label of rule R1, okay, and these plus tells that these are the records that belongs to class Y. Okay, these are the records that belongs to class Y. Okay, because this class Y is triggered by this rule R1. So this is the original data. So after step 1, now we will have to generate a new rule R1. Okay, we will generate the new rule R1 for this class Y. Okay, so rule R1 we have generated for class label Y. Okay, we have generated this rule R1 for class label Y. Okay, our next job is to remove the records that are triggered. So over here the square bracket shows that the records that are triggered by R1. Okay, this plus over here shows that the records that are triggered by R1. Okay, so once we have generated the rule, the next step is to remove that records, correct? So the next step we will have to remove this records. Okay, so once we generated the rule, next step is we have to remove this records. Okay, so we will have to remove this records. Okay, these are this is covered by okay, so these records we will be removing from the data set. Okay, because these records are satisfied by rule R1. Okay, this is step 1. Next, see over here it is empty, just R1 is shown, telling that the records are removed by R1. Okay, next we will have to generate one more rule R2. Okay, and we have to remove the records that are triggered by R2. So we have generated one more rule R2 and we have removed the records that are triggered by R2. Okay, so this is about a sequential coverage example. Okay, first we had this original data, we generated the rule R1. Okay, next we removed the records that are triggered by R1. Okay, here plus means shows the class label Y. Okay, minus means shows the other class labels. Okay, Y is nothing but the class label that is triggered by that rule. Okay, class label of R1. Okay, so once you generate the rule R1, you have to remove the records that are classified by that rule. So similarly, once you generate the next rule R2, we have to remove the records that are classified by that rule R2. So as we generate each rules, okay, we will remove the record from this data set that are triggered by that rule or that are classified by that rule. Okay, and finally we will generate an empty rule, okay, or a default rule. Aspects of sequential covering. Okay, there are some aspects of sequential covering. These are rule growing, instance elimination, rule evaluation, stopping criterion, and rule pruning. Okay, these are some of the aspects of sequential covering, that is rule growing, instance elimination, rule evaluation, stopping criterion, and rule pruning. First one is rule growing. So there are two common strategies for rule growing. Okay, first strategy is general to specific. Okay, first you will come up with a very poor quality rule, then this poor quality rule you will keep improving its rule quality. Okay, for general to specific you will come up with a very general rule or very poor quality rule, and next you will keep on improvising this rule quality. That is about general to specific. Next is specific to general. Okay, so we will see both these strategies with an example. Okay, under the general to specific strategies, so first let us see this general to specific strategy. So under this general to specific strategy, an initial rule, okay, so the rule of this form, default class belongs to y. Okay, default rule set belongs to y, where a left hand side is an empty set and the right hand side contains a target class. So initially you will add a rule of this type. Okay, empty set implies y. Okay, left hand side is empty set and the right hand side contains the target class. So initially you will add this rule. Next, the rule has poor quality since it covers all the examples in the training set. Imagine, empty set implies y means it will trigger all the records in the data set and it will classify them to class label y. Yes or no? So now what you have to do is new conjuncts are subsequently added to improve the rule's quality. Okay, to the left hand side you will keep on adding conjuncts in order to improvise the rule quality. Let us take this example of a vertebrate classification problem. Okay, see, initially over here if you see we have added this rule, okay, a general rule, okay, that is empty set implies mammals. So this rule was a poor quality rule, okay, which will classify all the records as mammals. Yes or no? Next, in the next step, if you see, we have added one conjunct to this rule. Okay, for example, over here we have added the conjunct skin cover is equal to hair, then we are classifying them as mammals. Okay, or we can add one more conjunct like if body temperature is warm blooded, we can classify them as mammals. Or also you can have conjunct like if it has legs is equal to no, then you can classify them as mammals. Okay, so in the next step we have added one conjunct each. Okay, we can further improvise this rule by adding some more conjuncts. Okay, for example, if body temperature is equal to warm blooded and has legs is equal to yes. Okay, so here we have two conjuncts. Okay, has legs is equal to yes, we can classify them as mammals. Or we can also do this, if body temperature is equal to warm blooded and add one more conjunct like if gives birth is equal to yes, then also we can classify them as mammals. Okay, so this is the general to specific strategy. You start with the more general rule and you keep adding conjuncts to that empty rule set, okay, until you get the more specific rules which will trigger most of the records. Okay, so this was about the first strategy, that is general to specific. Next Next strategy is specific to general strategy. Okay, specific to general strategy, one of the positive example is randomly chosen as the initial seed for the rule growing process. Okay, so during the refinement step, the rule is generalized by removing one of its conjuncts so that it can cover more positive examples. Okay, so let us directly go for the example so that you understand it better. See here, now suppose we have this class label as mammals. Okay, we have this class label as mammals. Okay, from the given data set, directly you will take any one record that is classified as mammals. Okay, so you have that data set, right, table. From that data set you will take one record randomly, okay, that is classified as mammals, and you will add all the attribute value pairs of that record. Okay, suppose if that record has body temperature is equal to warm blooded, skin cover is equal to hair, okay, gives birth is equal to yes, aquatic creature no, okay, aerial creature no, has legs is equal to yes, hibernates is equal to no. So you will take all the attribute value pairs of one given record, okay, and you will classify it as mammals. So this is a very specific rule. Okay, so in specific to general, what you will do is, in the next step you will refine the rule in such a way that you will remove one conjunct. Okay, for example, over here they have removed this conjunct. Okay, they have removed the conjunct body temperature is equal to warm blooded. Okay, this one conjunct they have removed. Okay, and over here if you see, has legs it is there, gives birth also is the skin cover, aquatic creature, body temperature warm blooded, skin cover is equal to hair, gives birth is equal to yes, aquatic creature no, aerial creature no, has hibernates is equal to no. So over here the second or you can also remember remove this conjunct hibernates is equal to no. Okay, so in this specific to general, what you will do is, first you will take one record from the data set and add all the attribute value pairs of that particular record. Okay, and that record should belong to the positive class. Okay, so what is the meaning of positive class? Positive class is the class label of the rule. Okay, other classes are called as negative classes. So if I have, say, rule R is such a way that it's something antecedent something is there, it implies some class label y0. Okay, so this class label is called as all the records that satisfy this class label y0 is called as positive examples, and the records that do not satisfy this class label, okay, or the records that belong to other class labels, they are called as negative examples. Okay, here the class label is mammals. So if I tell all the records okay, that have the class label as mammals are called as positive examples. Okay, the remaining classes are called as negative examples. So from the data set you will take one record at random, okay, that will be classified as that positive example, and you will add all the attribute value pair. So in the next step you will refine the rule such that you will keep removing one conjunct. So again, if you keep following like this, again you can remove one more conjunct. Say for example, you can remove like aquatic creature is equal to no. Okay, in this way you keep refining the rule. So this was about a specific to general strategy. In general to specific strategy, you start with an empty rule, right? A default rule that classifies into a given class, and then you keep adding the conjunct in general to specific. But in specific to general, in each step you prune the rule or you remove the conjunct. Okay, so these were the two strategies of constructing the rules. Next, let us see about the rule growing examples. First, let us see about the Reaper algorithm. Okay, in the repeat algorithm, first it starts from an empty rule. Okay, an empty rule belongs to class. It will add conjuncts that maximizes false information gain measure. Okay, next to this empty rule, you are supposed to add conjunct such that adding that conjunct will maximize the false information gain. Next, let us see what is that false information gain. Okay, now suppose we have R naught. Okay, R naught is an initial rule, that is empty rule that will classifies to a given class. Okay, suppose if R naught is the initial rule and R1 is a rule after adding the conjuncts. Now suppose to that empty set you have added one conjunct. Okay, to that empty set if you have added one conjunct, okay, so R naught is the initial rule and R1 is the rule after adding conjunct. Okay, next we will have to calculate the false information gain for R0 and R1 using this formula. Okay, so this is the formula to calculate the false information gain for the rules R0 and R1. Okay, using this formula, T into log of P1 divided by P1 plus N1 minus log of P2 P naught in divided by P naught plus N naught. Okay, where T is the number of positive instances covered by both R0 and R1. So T is the number of records that are or positive instances, okay, covered by both R0 and R1. P naught is the number of positive instances covered by R0. N naught is the number of negative instances covered by R naught. P1 is the number of positive instances covered by R1. And finally, N1 is the number of negative instances covered by R1. Okay, so suppose if we get more gain, okay, for a gain for information gain for R0, R1, if it is high, then we will be considering the rule R1. Okay, so adding the conjunct to the empty rule set, when you keep adding the conjunct, if you get more gain, okay, then you will consider that rule. Okay, so a rule that gives you the highest gain, that rule you will consider. Okay, so this was about Ripper algorithm. You start with an empty rule set. Next you will keep adding conjuncts to this empty rule set such that it gives you the maximum information gain, and that gain is computed by using this formula. Okay, next is instant elimination. Okay, so why do we need to eliminate instances? Okay, so here they are telling that once a rule triggers that record, you have to remove those records from the training set, or the records that are triggered by the rule, those records you have to remove from the data set. Okay, so why do we need to eliminate instances? Otherwise the next rule is identical to previous rule. Okay, otherwise you will get similar rules. Okay, and this is not supported, because one property of rule is that it has to be mutually exclusive. Correct? So we need to generate the rules that will have different class labels, okay, or which will classify the records into different classes. Next is, why do we have to remove positive instances? Okay, we need to remove positive instances in order to ensure that the next rule is different. Okay, why do we remove negative instances? Because why do we remove negative instances is because that in order to prevent underestimating accuracy of the rules. Okay, now suppose consider this example. There are three rules, okay, over here R1, R2 and R3. Okay, from the data set that contains 29, this data set contains 29 positive examples and 21 negative examples. Accuracy of R1, R2 and R3 are 80%, 70% and 66%. Okay, now suppose that first rule R1 triggers these records, right? The rule R1 triggers these records. Okay, now after removing the records, again we will calculate the gain. Okay, again we will calculate the accuracy. Okay, if removing this R1, you get high, that accuracy might vary also. You might get high accuracy also removing this R1. Okay, so that is how we can compare rules R2 and R3. By removing R1, we can compare the accuracy of R2 and R3. It might change. Okay, so that was about instance elimination. Next, we will see rule evaluation. So there are three matrices used in rule evaluation. Those are accuracy, Laplace, and M-estimate. Okay, accuracy is given by the formula NC divided by N. Okay, Laplace is calculated by NC plus 1 divided by N plus K, and finally M estimate measure is calculated as NC plus Kp divided by N plus K. Okay, where N is the number of instances covered by rule, NC is the number of positive instances covered by rule, K is the number of classes, and P is the prior probability. Okay, so these are the matrices used for evaluating the rule. Next topic is stopping criterion and rule pruning. Okay, so what is stopping criterion? Okay, for stopping criterion, we need to compute the gain. If the gain is not significant, then we will discard the new rule. So computing the gain for that rule, okay, and if that gain is not significant enough, then we can discard that new rule. Okay, next is rule pruning. Okay, rule pruning is nothing but removing the conjuncts from that rule. Okay, so here we are using reduced error pruning. Remove one of the conjuncts in the rule. Compare the error rate on the validation set before and after pruning. So before and after pruning that conjunct, you have to calculate the error rate. You have to calculate the error rate before pruning, as well as you have to calculate the error rate after pruning. Okay, if error rate improves, that is if you get more error rate, then you need to prune that conjunct. Okay, so this was about rule pruning. Summary of direct method. First, grow a single rule, remove instances from that rule or remove the records that are triggered from that rule. Prune the rule. Prune the rule is you need to remove the conjuncts from that rule. Add a rule to current rule set. Repeat. Okay, first you generate a rule, remove the records that are triggered by the rule, prune the rule, add the rule to the rule set, and repeat. This was about the direct method. Okay, so in this Ripper method, there are two approaches. One approach is for two-class problem. So let us see about that two-class problem first. Choose majority class as its default class as positive class. Okay, so choose the majority classes, okay, as its default classes and positive class. Next, learn rules for detecting minority class. So once you choose the majority class as default class, next you have to learn the rules for detecting the minority class. Next, for multi-class problem, you need to order the classes according to the increasing class prevalences. Okay, so or according to the fraction of instances that belong to a particular class. So according to the number of instances that belongs to a particular class, we will need to order the classes. Okay, so according to their increasing class prevalences. Okay, increasing class prevalences means fraction of instances that belong to a particular class. Next, learn the rule set for the smallest class first, treat the rest as negative. So for the smallest class, okay, you will generate the rules, okay, and you will treat the remaining classes as negative examples. Okay, repeat this till the next smallest class as positive class. Okay, over here what you will do, first you will order the classes, okay, according to their class prevalences. That is, class prevalences means number of records that belong to that particular class. Next, you will generate the rule set for the smallest class first. okay, by treating the rest as negative class. Next you will repeat this for the next smallest class as positive class. So this was about multi-class problem, and this is about two-class problem. In two-class problem, first you will choose majority class as its default class and as positive class, okay, and next you will learn the rules for detecting minority class. So two-class problem means it is a binary class approach, okay, so there are only two classes. So first you will choose the majority class as the default class. Next you will generate the rules for the minority class. Okay, so this was about the Ripper method for generating the rules. Okay, so growing a rule, first you start from the empty rule, add conjuncts as long as they improve foils information gain. So as long as that rule improves the foils information gain, you can add the conjuncts. Okay, stop when the rule no longer covers negative examples. Okay, prune the rules immediately using incremental reduced order pruning. Okay, so for pruning you need to use this formula. Okay, V is equal to P minus N divided by P plus N, where P is the number of positive examples covered by the rule in the validation set and N is the number of negative examples covered by the rule in the validation set. Okay, the pruning method finally delete any final sequence of conditions that maximizes V. So delete any sequence of condition that will maximize the error, okay, that is V. So this was about growing a rule. Next is building a rule set. Okay, to building a rule set, we will use a sequential covering algorithm. Find the best rule that covers the current set of positive examples. Eliminate both positive and negative examples covered by the rule. Each time a rule is added to the rule set, compute the new description length. Stop adding new rules when the new description length is d bits longer than the smallest description length obtained so far. So this is about building a rule set using a sequential covering algorithm. Next we will see for till now we have seen about direct methods for generating rules. Next we will see about the indirect methods for generating rules. Okay, generating a rule set from a decision tree. As I told you, in direct methods we will be generating the rules directly from the records or directly from the given data set. Yeah. In indirect methods, we will be generating the rules using other classification model, or we will be generating a rule set from the decision tree. Okay, so in principle, every path from the root node to the leaf node of the decision tree can be expressed as a classification rule. So for every path from the root node to the leaf node, you can generate a classification rule. Let us see how to do it. Okay. Okay, see here, rule R1, see, this is one path, correct? This is one path in the decision tree. P is equal to no, Q is equal to no, then class is minus. Okay, so you will generate this rule R1, okay, for this path. P is equal to no, Q is equal to no, then you will classify it as minus, class minus, okay. And one more path here, P is equal to no, Q is equal to yes, you will classify it as class plus. Okay, that is rule R2. Okay, you will generate for P is equal to no, Q is equal to yes, you will classify it as class plus. Okay, next path is P is equal to yes, R is equal to no. You will classify it as plus. That is, you are generating a rule R3 where P is equal to yes and R is equal to no. You will classify it as plus. Next you will generate one more rule R4. P is equal to yes, R is equal to yes, Q is equal to no. Okay, you will classify it as minus. That is, rule R4 is generated. P is equal to yes, R is equal to yes and Q is equal to no. Finally, you will generate the rule for the last path. P is equal to yes, R is equal to yes, Q is equal to yes. Okay, so you will generate a new rule R5. P is equal to yes, R is equal to yes, and Q is equal to yes, you will classify them as positive. Okay, so for each path in the decision tree, you will generate a rule. Okay, this was about indirect method. What are the advantages of rule-based classifier? Okay, so let us see the advantages of rule-based classifier. A rule-based classifier is highly expressive as a decision trees. It is easy to interpret, easy to generate, can classify new instances rapidly, performance comparable to decision tree. So the performance is almost the same as the decision trees, or it's exactly the same as decision trees. So these are the advantages of rule-based classifier. Okay, highly expressive as decision trees, easy to interpret, easy to generate, can classify new instances rapidly, and it can performance is comparable to decision tree. Okay, so that was about rule-based classifier. Thank you.